Holy cow. Look at us. We're back. It's the Bluebird Cage. Now with 100% more Kyle.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing, fellas?
Doing well. Doing well. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm your host, Medium Daddy Cool, with the other hosts. 88 Kyles per hour. Is that what we're going to go for this week?
I mean,
We'll
if we permit it, we gotta get the branding across all the socials.
As we've learned in our friend group, you can't give yourself a nickname unless you just want to be called that behind your back and never to your face.
Yeah. Did you guys call me?
I mean, who does that? Like, there's a difference between a social media handle and giving yourself a nickname. Those are two different things.
No, 100%.
Thank you.
I'm gonna switch mine. I'm gonna switch mine then to my Gran Turismo 7 handle, which is Angel with the E spelled with a 3.
God needed a driver, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Jesus. And our other host, the weatherman, David Modulewski. How you doing? How's the weather over there in Tennessee?
Pretty cold, actually. So cold, to borrow a phrase from Simon Birch, my balls are raisins.
Sun made or like Raisin brand? Do you have like some sugar attached or something? Is it the Kellogg's brand?
Like, why don't you come get a taste?
Jesus.
Tell me.
And knowing you, it's probably Raisinets. Oh God,
Missed you guys. It's been a minute.
It's been a while. But here we are on the Rhodes to WrestleMania. I suppose. I think we just got to keep in line with that branding, the pun, here on this journey with Cody Rhodes, after ripping his pec from his bone, and after like a pretty dramatic start last year after WrestleMania, a pretty dramatic entrance, leaving AEW and going to WWE. Now here he is, a little bit less than a year later. I think after being done with AEW, he's the winner of the Royal Rumble. He's going to face Roman Reigns. It's really interesting. Especially with The Rock being a no-go.
Have you forgiven him for leaving AEW?
Oh, I'm I don't really
peace with
care.
it?
I think his character was stale as hell in AEW, and he was getting booed. I think part of that was also the other presentation around Cody Rhodes. Like he had the whole entourage with Brandy and Arn and the jobber guys that were dressed in his like branded jumpsuits. And he wasn't very likable. I mean, he had that whole speech about curing racism or whatever he did.
He did it.
But then he comes to WWE and he keeps the same thing, but he strips away all the fat. Plus, I think that character just works in WWE better, at least for the time being.
It's interesting. It's interesting to see the same character get way more over in a different promotion. Almost, I don't feel like another character could do it right after him. Like I think him being the first person to come back to WWE and having the same persona is a novelty all its own. So they're just like, oh wow, he really got it. Like I respect him for negotiating that deal and having being able to say like, this is my music, this is my look. This neck tattoo is not coming off as much as you want it to. But
it is
I don't know.
pretty bad.
It felt like he was kind of doing the John Cena thing in AEW. Like he was just trying so hard to get you to like him.
He had kind of put himself in a corner too. The whole like executive VP role, you kind of like limit yourself as far as you can't put the belt on yourself and things like that. And
even that kind of hurt him too, like if you think about it, because he tried to circumvent ever being painted into that corner at the Full Gear 2019 match where MJF was his like manager basically, and he threw in the towel for him, causing him to lose the match, and then he could never wrestle for the AEW title again. So he kind of limited himself in that by trying to like not get painted like Dusty had in the past. If that makes any sense. Yeah. But yeah, like And then I think he's already in kind of
Any
an awkward spot.
arbitrary rule in wrestling, Meg.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure they could have gotten rid of it if they wanted to, but then would it, just do the opposite of what he was trying to avoid in this at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's interesting to see it working. I can tell, like, after a certain point, it's probably not going to work the way it is. Like, I do feel like people will naturally start to turn on him, and it makes me wonder. I don't know. We can save it for the segment where we're talking about Cody and Roman, but like, I kind of don't know. I don't know if he's going to take this one.
I think you have to. I don't think you need Roman, who is more or less a part-timer now. I don't think you need that title if you eventually want to get to him and The Rock next year. That can all be about, family and being the head of the table, yada, yada, yada. Like that can be the whole like belt there, so to speak, in the issue. I think you can run with Cody, but it'll be interesting to see how long you can keep him babyface without people turning sour on him. I think they were in a situation right now with Sammy where you have the hottest babyface in wrestling, bar none, and the hottest story in wrestling in a very, very long time.
Yeah.
They're doing a good job, like this week, having Cody come out and help him while continuing that story, but also not having Sammy accidentally bury Cody because he's so hot right now, like Hansel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It does seem like there's a natural bit to him that just comes out. Everybody knows he's got like grit and heart and stuff, and he kind of sometimes feels the need to show that. At least he did in AEW with like setting himself on fire and like looking like he was prepared to set himself on fire. Yeah. The man takes the steps to do it, but like, I don't know. There's this also like kind of swarmy, sniveling version of him that pops out every now and then. You're like, there he is. There's the real dude.
He does look a bit like he's got really bad taste in suits, and that's part of it. Like he looks like a used car salesman, or like a televangelist or something. And there's like,
you don't like long tail,
powder colored suits.
I like a good long tail.
If his suits that he wears to the when he's just dressed up formally, walking out there, not in his wrestling gear, if those were like loose fitting, and he had a tennis racket, he would just look like fucking Jim Cornette.
Yeah,
like he looks cheesy.
I like his fit, but I wonder how hot he's getting in that thing. It's a 3-piece suit. Looks like there's a lot of wool.
Looks like he's about to bust his ass in those wingtips too, coming down the ramp. Even Asuka this week, if you look at her, like when she was coming out to confront them, she was taking little baby steps because like that LED ramp has to be slick as shit.
Oh yeah.
Like it's interesting though. Like let's take a look at the overall card here. I'm gonna share my screen, guys, so we can look at it together.
Okay.
How do we do this?
Which did we need to, I guess, let the people know we're going to go see WrestleMania.
That's the whole point of this.
we're gonna be there in the stands with all the adoring fans, and then 3 of us, Statler and Wardorfing it,
and the G4 employees.
And the G4 employees, RIP.
Yeah, hardly knew you. Shout out to Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Are we pouring ashes out or something?
All I said was we're going to WrestleMania, and this turned into a commentary on G4.
No, I heard an RIP. So I.
Yeah.
Well, to G4.
Yeah. If you've got a coffee can, ashes of the
coffee can ashes. Just dump it in the crowd. It like falls at the bottom.
Spread the ashes of the world's largest game controller from the lobby.
That was a great little controller. It worked. You press the buttons. It was like.
Oh
anyway.
Boy. So making the cross country trip. I guess Dave and I he's coming from Tennessee. I'm coming from up here in Baltimore. Gonna take a little excursion in Vegas. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
See what's going on there. Stuff, things, sin, and then road trip it all the way to Kyle's new hometown.
It's gonna be great. Excited for this.
Are you more excited for WrestleMania or Nintendo World?
It's just a great weekend. It's just going to be, we got Nintendo World on Friday. Then we got night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania. And anything else we want to get into. Probably we'll see the G4 crew. So there may be like an after party somewhere. And, I can't say probably night 1 of WrestleMania I'm the most excited for, but Nintendo World's like a very close second. Night 2 of WrestleMania, probably going to be hungover, so I'm not going to be as excited about that one. I'm already going to be like gravelly voiced, can't talk, in pain. Like, okay, let's do this for 4 more hours.
Yeah, night 2 is going to be a real test of endurance.
Yeah,
it's like how much do I like wrestling? Like, it's great. Two nights at home, like that's fine. That's fine. Like 2 nights in a crowd. That's it's like it's not quite Bonnaroo miserable, but it might be worse because it's a bunch of wrestling fans.
Yeah, you don't normally like go see like Dave Matthews Band or Fish, and then somebody right next to you is booing them the entire time.
I don't think any of us, well, at least 2 of us, never went to go see Dave Matthews or Fish.
I'm just, the Sunday night standbys.
It's always to get out of Dodge early bands for me. But like at least Triple H, it looks like he's decided to make the card a little bit smaller for both nights, which apparently, according to the dirt sheets, has upset a few folks because they're going to be left off the card. They're not going to get a chance to wrestle, and then you get people like Logan Paul, who is decidedly not a wrestler. I guess he's more of a what do they call these people? Influencers these days that are getting the spot instead. So it'll be interesting to see how much this spills out. Like, I mean, even Cena.
We get this argument every year, like when somebody's left off the card because it's a celebrity, like it's not a thing that happens at every WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Now, I mean, Logan Paul, he was at last WrestleMania. He's done matches since then. So, not to defend him or anything, but he really doesn't. That's the thing too. It's like he has a talent for it. As much as I hate to admit it, like
awful person.
I
really
do enjoy hating him. Like I can legitimately look at him and be like, I hate you. I want something to go wrong and for you to be like incapacitated.
I mean, man. That last year, like, he'd had that debut match at Mania and it was, it was pretty good. And then Miz betrayed him. And that was supposedly, part of the deal to get him over as a babyface. And like, that didn't work. Like he gets booed every time he comes out. And like, I think he's starting to embrace it.
Yeah.
Because you gotta like the crowd kind of dictates your career and your career path, and it's
he's dealing with it a lot better than Rousey did. Like Rousey took that shit personally and looked like she got pissed.
Yeah, she did.
She's a baby troll, online troll. Like I don't have any sympathy for her. Sandy Hook denier.
Amongst other bad things. And then, Logan has his own things that are also probably bad as bad.
I will say though, like, you may disagree, Eddie, but I feel like he has the best buckshot lariat in the game today. It is without question the smoothest. He is athletic. Everybody else who jumps and takes a beat and he makes it so acrobatic and goes like.
It depends on who's doing it, and who they're doing it to and where they're at in the ring. I think Hangman does a fantastic job.
He does a good job, but Logan Paul's is better.
I would wholeheartedly disagree.
The best one obviously is CM Punk's, but for different reasons.
He tried it twice.
It was even better
Still
the
didn't land
second
it.
time. No, yeah. And then he won.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have called an audible in that match. You know, like you can't fuck up somebody else's signature move in front of them twice and then beat them. Doesn't even make sense.
Not to delve too much into AEW, but supposedly that was the original finish for that was supposed to be Adam Page winning, and there's a rumor that Punk politicked his way to the W there.
Yeah.
But who knows?
No, he wouldn't do that.
Never. It's never wrestling.
That never happens in wrestling. Yeah.
Straight edge superstar would never do something like that. But yeah, like not a bad card. I think there's going to be a couple more matches added. It looks like I think there's going to be the Rousey match, right, for the tag titles that are supposed to be added to this.
Didn't she? But she might be hurt. She might be legitimately hurt.
I think they were like kind of waiting to fully announce it because of that, because she got hurt with something. She wants to work through it. Tag match might allow her to work through something a little bit easier than a singles match. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't watch SmackDown, but they did a battle royal for the number one contender for the IC title, so that'll be added.
Yeah, it ended in a draw, I believe. I didn't see. I heard about it. It was like a draw between Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. Because they can't. Yeah, they're just holding hands all the time now.
It's like, it's like they like to lump every European together. Into one match, like so. That'll be good. That'll be good. Like Gunther is spectacular, and
who?
He that match he had with Sheamus was really, really good. I was hoping for a rematch of that.
Yeah,
but if you want to throw McIntyre in, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, I think something that they should do instead of making it a pay-per-view too, which I found far more interesting, was when they had the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. You could get a decent amount of like talent, especially those mid-card guys that are there for like, you know, the IC or like maybe a little bit above mid-card could be like a guy that, you know, gets a push later in the year and get him like a build up with that Money in the Bank throughout the year. I thought it was much better done at Mania instead of its own like thing.
Yeah, well, I guess we get the Andre the Giant Battle Royal now for that. Like,
but you don't even get anything. You don't get like a shot at the title. You just get a trophy that gets smashed the next night.
You get a little bit of recognition, a little pat on the back.
Yeah,
and then they smash your trophy immediately.
Yeah,
I mean, what's the point of a wrestling trophy? Like, if it's not gonna get smashed.
It's like a wrestling cake, you know, it's going in somebody's face.
Yeah. Chekhov's wrestling wedding cake.
There's the name of the episode.
I love a Royal Rumble so much. Like I love it as much as I hate a battle royal. Like there's nothing worse than having 30 people in a ring trying to like figure out what just happened behind them and react to it, because you could like bump into somebody and they're just like, they just sell it.
Case in point, all the battle royals that have been on AEW TV for like the past couple of weeks, there's been multiple battle royals and they've all been really bad.
The whole setup of like, here's 5 people all at once, like I don't like it. Even the Joker thing, like just rip off the Royal Rumble. Like that's all I want.
The pacing of the Royal Rumble has been perfected. Yeah. Like they've done it 30 times now. They know how to work it, but like they're able to tell a story with the Rumble, with the entrance, with the eliminations. Like it works every time. Even if it's not a good Rumble, the worst Rumble is better than the best Battle Royal.
Yes. You get little stories and other pieces put together there that like sets up other angles that'll lead into WrestleMania or like at least the next pay-per-view pretty often. And they do a good job of that, and also like getting people their spots at the same time that like adds a little pizzazz. Like the Kofi thing, even though that's kind of poor Kofi. The past 2 years has been pretty rough for him, but he normally has his spots, which is fun.
Yeah. Well, I thought he banged his head on the corner of the announce table this time. Like that freaked me out.
That whole thing looked bad. It looked really rough. Like he got
I'm getting like a bit of a vibe about Kofi that like he might be getting close to calling it. Not, I don't know anything. So? I don't know anything. If he wants to keep going, by all means. I just wonder, like, as these things kind of happen, the things that he's been known for doing, it's all totally up to him. But it's just speculation that when would he call it? Because he's like early 40s now.
You know, I mean, when is it time to either call it or reinvent yourself too? Yeah. You know, like that. How long have they been doing the New Day thing? It's been a while.
Almost 10 years, yeah. I mean,
which is crazy.
I don't think there's any need for them to turn on one another. I think that they're all smarter than they can come up with another narrative way to continue their stories separately, or, you know, in sort of like a, you know, like the Power Rangers. Like we don't use our morphers all the time now. We've moved on to Dino Thunder, but you know, you want that Green Ranger, like it's coming. I can do it. I'll Green Ranger you right now. You know.
RIP.
There's an RIP for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. What can you do? But yeah, like what when you're looking at this card here, like what sticks out to you though? What are you most looking forward to other than Roman and Cody? Like what is like your second tier? Like this is going to be a badass match that I'm looking forward to. Maybe it is the 3 foreign guys being meaty men slapping man meat.
Like,
well, yeah. Oh, sorry. Go on, David.
I mean, and then there's. I would say I'm actually looking forward to the Cena Austin.
So do you think that Cena buried him on Raw this week? A lot of people
like
yeah.
But another one that hasn't been I'm sorry.
Oh, so I think there was some buffering issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
Say that again, Eddie.
I was like, did you see him and Cena on Monday? Did you think Cena buried him pretty hard?
Mm-hmm.
He gave him this like some of the same speech he gave
the way
Roman
that
a few years
Cena
ago.
Is known to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like
that's been Cena's job now. Is like he shows up and he schools whoever is the new.
I know. I think we got lost a little bit again.
And
it's just kind of glitchy.
Oh, cutting out. Yeah, it must be me. Yes, I'm looking forward to that if we get that
yeah.
Yeah, like you said, I do think he got buried a little bit, but I think Austin Theory is kind of like, I think Vince McMahon was ready to just like shoot him to the moon. And then after everything happened with him, that got de-accelerated a little bit by Triple H. And I think there's been, I don't know if Triple H likes him the same way that he likes, that Vince likes Austin Theory, or if, he's just not sold on him. I mean, he's getting put in a prominent spot still against Cena. That's how many matches does Cena have left in him? Like, I don't even think he thinks he has too many. Apparently, Cody asked him for a match at one point, and he's like, I don't know how many I got left in me. So
yeah,
it was an interesting exchange between the two of them, because it was absolutely like John Cena doing the burial thing that like probably only he could get away with based on like his where he's been in the company for so long, and so nobody could throw back at him that way. I don't think people would be allowed to say stuff about him, not even like going for like personal life stuff. You can just talking at him as a person.
That bald spot.
Yeah, he did the bald spot thing, but like the fact that like, Austin Theory was given a chance, I guess, to talk it out with him, and he really didn't hold his own in that. Like,
well,
I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Well, if he's got the chops to be the next John Cena, if he's been put in this position by Vince McMahon at least before, and had a new persona after a bit where people are like, okay, I'm into it, but then like, yeah, he's not really taking it to any sort of interesting level. I know that kind of is back and forth on booking and what you're able to do with like your slot, but he isn't super interesting. He's not really providing any storyline thing, or like he's not the person to go out there and just talk and be compelling. But it seems like they're, to put him with Cena in this regard is to say like you're going to try to be this new compelling person on the mic, and I'm here to prove that like you're not on that level.
Sink or swim.
Yeah.
That's and that's hard to compare. It's like you kind of forget. Like I didn't, and like when he does come back, he destroys anybody on the mic. Like he's one of the most articulate wrestlers in years. Like sounds very natural, even when he's doing a scripted promo. I mean that's just kind of been his job. It's like he'll show up and it didn't matter if it was Roman Reigns or Austin Theory now. It's like if you screw up or you give him a chance, he's gonna eat you alive in front of everybody. Yeah. And I mean he made Roman Reigns look worse than any of his matches. Like
well, what's interesting about that one too is like he did kind of bring out something that was in Roman, like that. I think the Roman that you see now is able to be himself, and like it took John Cena, pushing him against the wall and him being like, I'm not gonna say, like you could tell like he was kind of hamstrung in that old promo they did together. Whereas like there is a much cooler dude underneath that talks shit and feels, a little bit more put together and complete, that he just wasn't able to be Roman Reigns, I mean to say. And I don't know if that's the case with Austin Theory. Like with John Cena, it's kind of in the same, if I could bring it back to Cody Rhodes, like there is something in, like people smell sincerity, and there's something to John Cena that even though like he hides behind, like there's a fair bit of like sanctimony and all this to his character. He's a dick. Like there is deep down, you can kind of tell he's a dick. And when he acts like he's not a dick, that's I think in some ways why people booed him for so long.
That I think that might be a little bit of like just prejudice against that accent. Like, because I get totally what you're talking about. But
yeah, it's Boston people. I'm sorry, I can't listen to it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like they're full of shit.
So, sorry,
real accent.
Two Boston listeners.
It's too Boston for me.
I mean, I get it. I think too, like this is like his moment too to really like prove his worth. Like, you know what I mean? In wrestling today, there's a million guys that can go out there and have really, really good matches. There's lots of really athletic guys, but you have to have that extra, that something else that makes you different, that makes you above, like a cut above everyone else. Does Austin Theory have that thing? I think he's going up against one of the greatest all time, and he's gonna be tested. Hopefully, they don't hamstring him themselves by scripting him too much. Hopefully, they let him go toe to toe with Cena. If so, that could make a guy like him. That could really make him and put him in a higher tier.
I wonder what that could be. I mean, it's always fun to kind of look behind the curtain and wonder what people actually bring to the table or what they might not be able to do. But it seems like in the post Vince McMahon era, hopefully post Vince McMahon era, but like, people are given a chance to be who they are and see what that does. It's like, all right, let's leave no stone unturned. Like top dollar, see what you got.
I think he's dead in the water.
Hit row. I meant to say hit row.
Hit row is just like they're done. Like
this iteration, obviously they brought, they had something going in NXT, and now that like these wrestlers are getting the chance to I guess sink or swim, like. And
they lost their biggest guy too. Like they lost the guy that held it all together.
Oh, Swerve,
Yeah, Swerve was he was much better than everybody else in that group.
Well, I don't mean to digress.
There's a we've learned that like the translation from NXT to the main roster doesn't translate as well from NXT to AEW. Like,
Oh, for sure.
Like, yeah, it's almost they've kind of put themselves in a corner where it's like you're better off if you're NXT, you're better off going to AEW than you are the main roster, because like you won't have to, like the change you'll make will be a little more natural. Like you won't have to be reinvented to go up to the main roster.
Well, it seems like
Exactly.
now NXT is a different type of farming thing, where like they were bringing in a lot of the indie darling people before that we all started to like, and then once they got up to the main roster, it went about as well as you'd think it would. And so now, like going to AEW seems like a better thing.
Then you have guys like poor Roderick Strong that's been stuck there forever. Like his NXT run has been longer than his ROH run that like made him like a like a big prospect amongst people. Like and he's still just stuck down there doing nothing. Then you have guys like Johnny Gargano who get out of it that are pulled right back down there because things on the main roster aren't happening. They're not going any sort of way like positive for him. Like and he had that choice. He could have chose between AEW and WWE, and he chose to make that dream happen. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for him, I don't know. He does look a lot smaller on WWE TV. I will say, like he looks considerably smaller.
Yeah,
than he did in
dude.
NXT. Yeah.
Well, so getting back to WrestleMania, you asked before, like what match I'm looking forward to the most. This is totally just to pop myself, to get myself over. Brock versus Omos, I believe. Because I want to see if I can get a chant going at WrestleMania at SoFi Stadium. And I've told everyone at G4, I've told everyone who watches my stream or whatever, like as soon as this bell rings on these guys, I just want to get a chant going. Big meaty men slapping meat, big meaty men slapping meat.
That's a lot for a bunch of intoxicated people, I'm sure.
But everybody knows that line. Everybody knows that meme, and it's not a chant, and it should be. And I want to see if I can do it. I'll just keep doing it, and I've got, we got the guys behind us. I'll just get it going.
Do you know the people behind us now? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I know. I've got my G4 crew behind me. I think they're sitting behind us. They might be sitting ahead of us.
Kyle Mania.
LA's a tight knit community, Eddie. Like they all know each other.
Oh yeah, everybody knows each other. Yeah.
My suggestion is
Kyle, sisters. Yeah.
If that becomes too long of a chant, just reduce it down to just meat.
Meat.
Yeah.
All right, we'll try 5 minutes of big meaty men slapping meat, and then we'll go from meat. Fair.
Oh, 5 minutes match will be over. Like this will be a short match.
That's true.
Like, kind of a disappointment that this is the match too. To be honest, like I was hoping, and I think most of us were hoping it'd be Bobby Lashley against Brock Lesnar. But this, reportedly, whether it's true or not, this was a Vince thing.
Yeah, it probably was.
See, I read it was a Brock thing.
Brock.
That he like they were actually going to put him with Bray Wyatt, but he didn't want to work with Bray Wyatt.
That was That was another one of the options. Like apparently, like there was like 3 options, and he hated the whole Bray Wyatt thing, from what I read. Too.
Yeah. He didn't want to
see
Supernatural.
It's cute. It's very cute. We know where Eddie's choice is.
Meat.
No,
who's my choice on here?
Especially for building the next roster, like it makes more sense to do Omos than it would Bobby Lashley. We saw the match already, even though it ended like it. I don't know. It seems like we've gotten a number of the things we expected, and it didn't have to happen at WrestleMania for it to have happened and be worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
I would have liked to have seen that though, like a Brock Lesnar beat 'em up match. I have a feeling like this is going to be a bit of a styles clash, and I would love to see almost take a belly to back or a belly to belly overhead release. But I think he might die. He literally might die.
Well, I really wanted to see Gunther and Gunther
that'd be awesome.
and Brock go at it. That would have been great because I know that's what he wants. At least listening to him on like podcasts and stuff, he that's one of his dream matches. And like the dude just seems like a good dude. And so you want to see good things for him, even though he's a heel or whatever.
Yeah. Not neo-Nazi gimmick.
No, he's a traditionalist. He's he wants wrestling. I mean, they've
scaled back. They've scaled back.
But
that was like
it's an imperium. It's an empire. An empire of what? Of wrestling prowess. Don't read too far into it, David.
This might be the match that we get the ring to explode or collapse, which would be cool. Which would be cool to see live. Yeah. Like if they want to do this match and then cut to the musical guest or whatever, like it'd be the time to do it.
Is there a musical guest?
There's gotta be. Like
Becky G is doing America the Beautiful, which I was curious if we were going to get America the Beautiful or the Star Spangled Banner. Becky G is she's a pop musician. She was in the Power Rangers movie.
The first Power Rangers movie?
The newer one.
Oh.
So.
They always do America the Beautiful. Vince McMahon is a big supporter of America the Beautiful and anti Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, he hates that one. Our nation's anthem.
I mean, I understand it is. It's got some issues. I would say other than
there's some good versions out there. Brian McKnight and his sons, they do a great version.
I was just talking about the lyrical content of the actual full song
of the Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah, there's some racial stuff in that.
Where?
The original Star Spangled Banner full lyrics?
Like the one, yeah, or like what about? Okay, I don't know about the original, the one that everybody sings. Like, what's racial about that?
No, but like there's still like content in it, like from the beginning of it. I don't think taking something out of something makes it any less like bad from the start.
Well,
to a lot of people.
Here's the thing: as like there's racial connotations in the first draft of everything.
Oh yeah.
So we can't limit it. I
don't think that's the reason Vince is. I'll sit.
No,
it's probably not his motivations behind not wanting.
To no, it's Vince doesn't give a shit. It's for some other reason. I'm sure.
I'm gonna ask Chat GPT to write me a national anthem with racial connotations in it.
I mean, we could do that right now if you'd like.
No, I
kid.
I feel like we've got a lot to talk about here with WrestleMania.
Other than what we're seeing here on the card, I'm really looking forward to the Sammy thing. I want to see how they pull it off and how he keeps that steam going. If they cool him off, or if he can still keep it going by being put in a lesser tier match in many ways. It keeps that story going with the Usos and Kevin, but it takes him out of the picture with Roman. So do you see Sammy like getting involved there at all? Do you think we'll have a Sammy appearance during the Roman and Cody match? Do you think we'll get a clean finish? Or do you think that'll be free of most interference and we'll get Sammy and Kevin Owens giving the comeuppance to the Usos there?
I think that's what we'll get with them. I was kind of hoping they would avoid that, but the storyline seems like it's like Kevin Owens is reluctantly going to agree to win the tag team titles, which is fine. I love like KO and Sammy are two of my favorites like right now, and I don't know if anybody has better chemistry than those two guys. Like it's equivalent of like
turns on Sammy immediately.
Oh, he will. He totally will. But
like that'll solve your Cody problem a little bit right there. Like just
they have
throw him back into a feud with KO.
Yeah,
it's like that's how they show their love by slamming each other into the ring apron.
Yeah, I mean those two guys were the stars of last year's WrestleMania, like, and they've done a fantastic job with like not being being in the title picture, but not being real contenders or anything with the circumstances. But they're, they've had spotlight for a while, and they're going to continue like with that. And we'll build up in a couple of years. We'll get a KO versus Sammy match for the title, and it'll be a huge match. And I can't wait for that.
I'll be surprised if that happens. Like the way they've treated the title recently amongst folks. Like I'll be surprised if KO gets another run soon. I'll be really surprised if Sammy gets one.
Sammy will win the title on an episode of Raw.
You're gonna give him the Mick Foley treatment.
He's gonna get the Mick Foley treatment. He's absolutely gonna get the Mick Foley treatment, which is fine. Like,
I mean, he's way more skilled than Mick Foley. As far as wrestling prowess goes. Like, I feel like he could hold his own if he changed up his gimmick or his look a little bit more to show off like the Sami Zayn of old. I think that would be of help, or at least be an indicator that they could go.
What he looks like, though, I mean, he's still a great wrestler. He looks like the Daniel Bryan you got at WrestleMania 30, though, who was had the big beard, the mussy hair, perennial underdog, yada yada yada. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same story you're being told there, in some ways, because the fans chose him. I don't think it was WWE that necessarily meant for this to get as big as it did, and meant for Sammy to get as over as he's gotten himself. And a lot of this is Sammy just being really, really good at what he does.
Yeah, I do think that like I don't know, the internet wrestling community likes to paint the picture and have their expectations, and gets upset when the thing that they guessed it was going to be is something different. And I got to think that there's enough people up top who already see that and already know what the expectations are and will just subvert them for the sake of not giving you what you want. Was that my what?
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but were you trying to draw parallels to like maybe The Last Jedi or something?
I'm trying to let this go. I'm trying to... You're stirring the pot now, David.
I mean, it's 2 against 1 here, I think, at least, thought-wise on that. So we can move on past.
I think you're ramping David up to your level of hate for The Last Jedi, but we don't have to talk about that. I'm just saying. I'm saying.
That some of us have watched these movies for years and hate when they've been treated poorly.
Well then maybe think about other things now. It was 6 years ago. But,
I'm going to think about The Mandalorian. Let's move it on. We are getting some legends, and we got this finally introduced after a couple stops and starts. This was supposed to be introduced like a while back, but we are getting Trish Stratus and Lita with Becky against Bailey and crew with Dakota, which is, I think she's fantastic, and Io also fantastic. That should be a fun match. It's a way to get 3 people involved there on that side and also have some legends involved. I don't know when the last time Trish or Lita wrestled at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I don't either. I mean, like it seems like they pop up once or twice a year now, but like not at Mania. So yeah, it is nice that those are our legends this year. That's who they are. Because you don't really, at least I don't, as far as like thinking about like bringing a legend back for Mania, is like I don't think about the women's roster. So it was kind of a pleasant surprise because like, back then during the Attitude Era, they were, by far the best. And, from what we've seen, they can still kind of go. So it should be a fun match.
Yeah, it should be fun. I don't know what the end result will really help because I feel like I feel like Damage Control needs to win or else like what are they there for? If people who have not been wrestling in years come back and beat them all collectively, like
makes
who
fans
aren't
happy.
Yeah, I know it makes fans happy. I know what it is, but like
that's the thing. There's a balance between making.
But what does it say for their value as any kind of storyline? Like what does it say for like keeping them around?
Well, how do you book them and keep the heel strong at the same time, right?
Keep the heel strong?
I mean, sometimes
Oh,
like a legend match isn't necessarily about the win or the loss. It's about the profile, and it's you don't get like a legend coming back, like Steve Austin coming back and beating Kevin Owens. That didn't hurt Kevin Owens at all. Like he got to be in a match with Steve Austin. Under you wrestle against, like, Undertaker shows up, you wrestle against him. That doesn't hurt your career. Like you're in a high profile match. Like so it's kind of a you still get that rub one way or the other. Like now, if it was Goldberg, like coming out mowing you down, like that would be different. But
it would be different because he'd almost kill you. You would have to deal with that.
He does want a retirement match now, guys. Like, so I guess we might get that next year in Philly.
Like, honestly, like I hope he does get it, but like I hope that he agrees to, like, somebody goes out there and just squashes him, and like give us a reverse Goldberg finish, and
goes out in the crowd and just slaps his kid.
That kid grew up too. Like he doesn't look as dumb as he used to.
Well, kids are stupid anyway, so.
Fair. I guess we're gonna have another Charlotte Flair title match here at WrestleMania against Rhea Ripley. You got to think this is going to be the time where they actually put it on Rhea, and she gets to do the thing. This is her big moment, I feel like.
I think this is going to be a great match. Yeah. I feel like this is a match that you could show people who don't watch wrestling, and they would get it if you show them a women's match of our time. Like, this is going to be one of the best ones. Second, like between the two women's championship matches, like, you cannot go wrong with that card. Like, you've got the 4 best wrestlers in the game right now.
Those might be the 2 best matches of the night.
I want to see the strength behind. I'm sorry. I'm talking over you.
I was just only going to comment. It's like ever since that they've gone to 2 nights and they've given they've had a women's main event for at least one night. Those matches have fucking delivered. Like those have been the standout matches for every Mania since. So I don't see why this would be any different.
Yeah, and this is what Bianca's 3rd WrestleMania in a row. She's wrestling either for or with the title, so it's great to see a hometown girl doing good, and she's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, Knoxville.
Yeah. She's our new Kane.
Would it be great if she ran for mayor after that? She went back to Knox County.
That would be fantastic, actually.
The ultimate showdown. And there's a couple things missing here if you look at this too. I think we're gonna get a Balor Edge match probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I hope that whole group turns on Balor this time and Edge just takes it back. I don't know.
No,
like that whole thing was kind of that was forced anyway.
You're not paying attention. I think Judgment Day. I think Judgment Day is one of the most entertaining, hilarious, dipshit heel factions of the time.
They are
great.
They are dipshit heels. It's like I like the parts of them. I don't know how I feel about him as a whole, but
I think what they did with Dom. I think what they did with
I do like
every time Finn Balor gets a move now, you can tell he's so happy to be doing what he's doing, where he drops a leg drop on somebody or a stunner or whatever, and instantly looks at the camera, just always just flexing to the camera, being an asshole. It's hilarious. It's the best thing about wrestling right now.
And I think we're supposed to get
that group's the best thing about wrestling.
I'm gonna go with it. No, the Bloodline is, but they're the most comedic thing about wrestling.
I think Balor deserves a little bit better. I think breaking that group up was a very panicky move in the first place. Removing Edge from it, like they were trying to do, and make him a babyface because they didn't have one at the time with Cody being hurt. I think it was a panic move. It's turned out fine. I think it's gotten those people over like it was supposed to.
Well,
but I think it would have been more interesting with Edge.
I mean, I have to disagree with you there. Like, I think Edge was in a weird spot where like people wanted to cheer him and wanted to like him, that he was like positioned to be a heel. And then as soon as Finn Balor took over the Judgment Day, like it became what it was supposed to be, like some sort of, little shit heel group where like people could actually respect what they were doing, especially once they got Dom, and Dom became like, Dom went to jail for a night and then became prison Dom.
Yeah,
the best thing.
And we're supposed to get that too, right? Mysterio versus Mysterio at Mania, probably.
Oh yeah.
So there's a few more matches that are getting added.
That is a match that I might be looking forward to the most too, because like that might be Mysterio's final match, and if it is, it'll be sadder than when Ashley Judd died and Simon Birch. It'll be sad.
What? Oh man!
I was trying to do a callback to Simon Birch.
I was thinking back to Double Jeopardy or something. I was like, did I miss something? Well, maybe we'll get another last match. Last time David and I went to WrestleMania, we got Edge's last match.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
For a decade-ish.
Yeah.
Exactly. Ended the next day. One of the more forgettable WrestleManias, I think, in the past. Like that, really the most memorable part on the card is Triple H versus Undertaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was a good match. Now I will say that I do feel like with the main event, there might be a possibility that we have a similar finish to the WrestleMania we went to, because if The Rock not being involved, not doing a match this year, who's to say he's not going to get involved in the main event and set up his feud with Reigns? It would be the perfect time for him to do it. And I don't know if they want to give Cody the title like that, but
that was my thought. Is like, what does that do to Cody?
Shine. It's like, here's the thing with Cody. It's like I like the stuff that he's done. Like he's a great wrestler, but it's like we're going from one forced champion to another. Like he's come in and just like beeline his way to the main event, and the struggle isn't there. Same with Reigns. We were forced to like Reigns. And
I'll disagree with that though. Like Cody's struggle is if you're a more longer term wrestling fan, and I think they've told that in some ways, but they've also turned away from telling some of that to where he came from. You look at where Cody was at WrestleMania 27 when we were there. You look at him where he was at in the last WrestleMania before he left WWE. He was in the dredges. He was nothing to be like. Most people were interested in him. I thought Stardust was funny.
Sure.
He was not doing very well, but I think part of this is him going from, to use his branding, undesirable to undeniable in that sense. He was not seen as a top card guy. He was barely seen as a mid card guy, and he went out and proved himself to be something even better than that. And he did it himself. He's more of a self-made man, and he did it without the Rhodes name for the most part, at least keeping it attached to his.
He wants you to know it too.
Yeah, at this point,
now he's using it freely,
and that's kind of thing too. That's that's great, but as far as if you want to as a legitimate contender in a different organization, I do want to see those dues paid. I do like that. I do want a struggle to get to that title, and I just haven't seen it with him. He's put on good matches. He was number 30 in the Royal Rumble.
I think they shouldn't have done that, especially after announcing him as well. There was no mystery to that at all. They just announced
it didn't sell too well, putting him in 30. Especially when you had Gunther in first and then making it all the way to the end, and then you have Rhea starting it and finishing it in going all the way. To have his story there, it feels a bit lopsided.
And you do get the struggle too. I mean, he ripped his whole titty muscle off the bone.
Yeah, but there's not really been a whole lot of like
but,
narrative
that
struggle though, too. Like narratively within his storyline in the WWE, which is all that really matters for this championship. Like, yeah, I agree with you, David. Like, there's not been a lot to really grab on and feel for, as there has been with like Sami Zayn, where you just see this dude get abused week in and week out, and you're like, I feel for this guy. I also know from the time he's been here, he's super talented. He knows what he's doing, and I've gotten to like hate him now. I like him again. I don't see that as much in Cody. So
but you're never going to see that with a Sammy compared to like a Cody. I mean, even just like the pedigree and the looks, right? You know what I mean? Sammy's never going to be that guy. He's never going to have that like that pretty boy. Like I could be the freaking quarterback of the football team type shtick, right? Cody can do that. Sammy's never going to be that way. I think you get the again, the Daniel Bryan effect, always rooting for the underdog there. And that's what Sammy is. And he's really, really good at being the perennial underdog and making that as relatable as possible.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at it like that, it's like it's the same reason Roman Reigns is the champion. Like, like he's a big dude. He's good looking. Like he fits the profile. Like, I never saw that in Cody. Like, I think Cody tries to be that.
Yeah.
But Cody is just Cody's still trailer trash. Like, it's not pretend. Like,
oh goodness.
I could see it going either way. I did want to ask y'all a question. What do you think the driving force behind the Bloodline storyline is? Do you think it's Paul Heyman?
Yes. Paul Heyman, Paul Heyman is the glue of like the world title picture for like the last 10 years. Like he is like I think at some point, like when Paul Heyman's on his way out, I think we're gonna have some kind of story like he's the power hungry one.
Yeah.
And he's always positioned himself to be behind the top guy, and to get so he's Paul Heyman is like Paul Heyman keeps everything together. Like he kept Brock Lesnar afloat. Like Brock Lesnar was fine, but like it was Paul Heyman who did all the shit talking. Like Roman Reigns, he's gotten a lot better. Like he's fine now.
But I would not want his wife to watch what he says on Raw and SmackDown. Like, it's just like, I hope no one in your family knows how good at being manipulative you are, because this is textbook like abuse in every facet. Like their understanding of psychology in that storyline, I think is really. Just like there's a realness to what kind of story they're telling, and I don't know how much longer that story goes for if Roman doesn't have the title. And so like if I'm booking it, I want to see it. I want to see how long it goes, and I don't necessarily want the bloodline to break up, because I want the focus to be on those characters and that storytelling. I want all that to continue.
If you do what most people think is going to happen, you're going to have the bloodline lose the tag titles, right? Yeah. You're going to have Roman lose the undisputed title. Then there's a question within the bloodline: who is the head of the table, right? Like they're kind of in disarray out of that. And then how do you put those parts together? Does Heyman stay with them? He's an outsider. He's the only outsider in that group. Mm-hmm. Do you see Solo coming after Roman? Like, does he end up getting that push, and like they do it that way? Do they keep him off TV for some time? Or do they do the thing with the Rock where he's like, look at you, he's like, you're not the head of the table type thing, and like lead that in. I would rather them like put it on the books now and like be able to lead into it, especially since Roman is a part-timer, and I don't think he's gonna like be as involved. He's done on the house shows and stuff like that. Like it would be cool if they did like they did back in like WrestleMania 27 and kind of lead it into that, and you have like a whole year to tell little parts of the story throughout the shows.
Yeah. I don't want this story to end, however it goes. Like, and I know that there's still always going to be that competition for screen time. And if you don't have the championship, like what else are you bringing to the table? What there aren't that many external stories to be told or that are being told in WWE outside of the championship runs, it seems. So I would worry for, it's like watching Sons of Anarchy. Like, you want to bring it back to Sons of Anarchy. It's like, and you got FX is the WWE, and then you got Sons of Anarchy is this one show I want to watch, and it will eventually fall apart, as all shows do. But until then, I want to see where the characters go and how they switch around. But
hopefully I still care for at least one character by the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That didn't happen with Sons of Anarchy.
No, sure.
They all deserve to die.
Yeah, exactly.
But right now, I think Jey Uso.
It's like you were ready for everybody to die.
Yeah, they all deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
they were all pretty awful, except maybe Tara. I can't remember if she did anything messed up.
Can't
remember if Tara did anything messed up on that show.
Oh yeah, she did some rough shit.
Yeah, she got a fork to the back of her head. That's what she did.
I didn't remember if she did anything like herself that was like unforgivable as a character type thing. Things like Jack's done. Anyway.
Yeah, no, not she wasn't on the same level. But
we barred Sons of Anarchy.
But no, I think like a lot of different characters are coming out of this. I know it's like, if you think about like the Shield and what they were able to do, building up their status as a group, and then what those three guys managed to make of themselves afterwards. I think there is a lot to be said for this, but I do think that there is a cohesive storytelling bubble of these four characters, like adding Solo Sikoa and adding Sami Zayn and now adding Kevin Owens. I think there's a fair bit of like story left to be told, even if the belts change hands. But I just feel like if I were booking it, I was looking at it from Triple H's perspective. Like, this is making us the most money. We're selling the most shirts this way. Like, and we're getting close to like 1,000 days. You got different benchmarks you could look at. I could see Roman Reigns holding it for 1,000 days, and then after that, all bets are off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like when they started talking about the length of his reign, and it's like it's getting that close. It's like they may let him do that, because that's not going to happen again. Like, it's kind of surprising that he's had it that long, but at this point, it's like might as well give him 1,000 days.
I would like to see what that would do for Cody and like the push though, like in general, the whole thing that's going on. Like, maybe, do you think that kills it?
Cody's struggle? No, like I think maybe Cody's struggle can begin. Like he was never like give us you were never promised the title, like you said, title, like. We gave you a shot and you lost. Now you need to we've got Money in the Bank coming up. If you want to join, if you want to participate in that, like if you want to pull your Dusty Rhodes card and
you'll drag that statue of your dad in and be like, I'd like to exchange this for a spot in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah, like it's as my issues with Cody Rhodes' story, it's like those could be addressed by him losing. You'd be like, okay, well now, like, you're not like it's like I don't want to, even if it's in your contract, I don't want to see that it's in your contract that you get a world title. Like, I still want you to earn it. Like, you came back, you made a name for yourself. That's why we're paying you what we're paying you. But that doesn't make you the number one guy. Like, you still have to earn that.
Well, I guess we'll see how they paint this picture here. We've got 3 more weeks before we're headed to WrestleMania. 3 more weeks, 3 more shows. It's like Forbidden Door last year. We'll see how it goes. Like maybe we'll do something while we're out in California, Kyle's way. Hopefully you have the internet, Kyle. You do have a lovely hue behind you.
Thank you. Yeah. Now I've got some smart lights. I can set us up a little post show wrap up thing. Get a glass of scotch for you. We'll just talk it out.
Oh, goodness.
Make it real chill.
I'm sure that'll end well. You guys got any last thoughts here? We'll wrap up the show and we'll come back next week. hopefully, and we'll do a little quiz or something. Maybe we'll do a steel quiz match.
I don't know. I've never been a part of a steel quiz match.
Put one together. These things are interactive these days, so I think we might have one other person on the broadcast next week. So that should be fun. Make it a challenge for all of us. Y'all got any parting words for our millions and millions of one fan?
We've got a tailgating to go to at the beginning of WrestleMania. We've got WrestleMania. We've got some after parties. It's gonna be a big.
Do you have a tailgate set up?
We're gonna tailgate.
Do you know people?
Oh, we know people. We're talking tailgating.
Let me ask you this with all due respect. Is this gonna be a California tailgate?
Elaborate.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I mean, is it gonna be like beer and hot dogs, or is this gonna be like tofu and
kombucha?
And David says is the only Californian in this podcast right now. The actual hometown Californian.
I'm so far removed at this point. Like they've forgotten me a long time ago, man.
The Modulesky name doesn't ring from the mountains.
You gotta go look at the tombstones if you want to see that name now.
Oh God, you got any parting words there, David?
I had a quote from Simon Birch, but
oh God, and on that note,
no, I want to hear the quote.
All right. Let's see. You want when is it cold?
He doesn't have a quote. He doesn't have a quote. He's Googling, Kyle.
I Googled quotes. Yeah.
I need the consistency.
Like, well,
I need continuity.
Let's see. Some closure. Simon Birch closure. Let's see. There was something about it's like maybe we can pay her some money to grab her boobs, but we'll save that one for next week.
All right, I take it back.
All right. This has been the Blue Bar Cage. I'm your host, Medium Daddy Cool. For your other host, California Kyle, and your other host, the perennial weatherman himself, David Modulesky, saying, remember, in California, blondes are like the state flower or something. See ya.
To contact us, search for and like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BlueBardCage, or send us an email at bluebardcage@gmail.com.